Sa mga delegado pong nandito, kasamahan natin ngayon, makakalikasang umaga po sa ating lahat. I would like to thank the organizers for having us here at the second national workshop on UI GreenMetric World University Rankings. It is my privilege to represent ERDB and share how we advance the sustainability through research and innovation and provide you insights from the Ecosystems Research and Development Bureau. Today, I'll talk about the problems we have at hand, from the global scale to the local setting. I will also discuss what exactly is ERDB and our role as part of the Department of Environment and Natural Resources. Then I will share stories about our sustainability programs, our extension services, and what we can do moving forward. I'll start off with the problem at hand. From a global perspective, humanity is riddled with the threats of climate change and unimaginable impact it has on our planet. For one, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, or NASA, states that 90% of global warming happens in the oceans as manifested through alarming rates of rising sea levels and ocean temperatures. According to statistics, in the last 30 years, our oceans have been continuously rising year by year with an average rate of 3.1 millimeters. For the mean sea level in January 2023, it was 98 millimeters higher than the same month in 1993. Various marine species are also threatened by habitat loss due to coral bleaching. The warming of our oceans caused significant stress to coral reefs, which led to bleaching. They not only lose their vibrant colors, di ba? Ang ganda-ganda ng kulay po ng ating mga coral reefs, pero nawawala dahil po sa bleaching. And well, eventually, they're most likely to die. And the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA, has confirmed that the fourth mass coral bleaching po has already occurred from February 2023 to April 2024. And they said that these events can happen more frequently and severely as the world gets warmer and warmer. With the coral slowly dying before our eyes, what do you think would happen to the life underwater and, of course, the people who depend on it? All this may seem distant and too abstract to grasp, but we experience the effects of climate change locally on a different scale. From a local perspective, of course, we're all familiar with the web of environmental problems our country faces. Just last month, we all saw the devastation caused by Super Typhoon Karina, di ba? Heavy rainfall, strong winds, massive floods, and damaged homes and infrastructures, resulting to a total amount of about 1.2 billion worth of damages in agricultural sector alone po yun. And if you think that's the worst, hindi po. Because the Philippines have suffered an even greater degree of damage due to the typhoons that landed our country. It was in 2013 when we experienced the greatest nightmare called Typhoon Yolanda, di ba? Causing a whooping loss of about 95.48 billion pesos. That's on top of the lives we have lost, and of course the emotional toll that it has caused to millions of Filipinos. Then there are other pressing issues as well on solid waste management, microplastics in our oceans, nauso na po tong microplastic na to, increasing number of threatened and endangered species, reducing water supply, polluted air, water and soil, and unsustainable use of natural resources. The environmental disruptions we see in our urban communities and the coastlines and marine ecosystems are only an effect of the changes that have been happening in our forest. This is called ridge to reef, a linked web of connection that requires a ridge to reef approach. And that is what we do at Ecosystems Research and Development Bureau, or ERDB. ERDB is one of the 6 bureaus under the Department of Environment and Natural Resources. while the other DNR offices are mandated to regulate and implement policies to protect, conserve, and manage the country's environment and natural resources. ERDB functions as the research arm. Kami po nagpo-provide ng scientific inputs in the review and formulation of our policies, programs, and projects on environment and natural resources. Since its establishment in 1987 through an executive order, ito po yung EO number 192, merging the functions of the Forest Research Institute and the National Mangrove Committee, we have been conducting research and generating technologies aimed to address the country's environmental concerns in the 5 major ecosystems. Specifically po, ito yung sa forest, upland farms, grasslands and degraded areas, coastal zone, and freshwater, and of course, urban areas. If you've been to Mount Makiling in Los Baños, Laguna, at nakita niyo po yung building na may statue of Mother Nature on the wall, yun po yung opisina namin. And there are 6 other centers that we have nationwide na meron din po nung nandun din po si Mother Nature sa wall. Now we go to our sustainability programs. The key concept of sustainability is ensuring that the needs of the present and future generations can be met. It's ensuring what we enjoy now can be enjoyed by our sons and daughters and the sons and daughters that will come after them. At ERDB po, sustainability is at the very core of our projects, activities, and programs. To start, under the Forest Ecosystem Resiliency and Sustainability Program, we have several nature-based solutions addressing deforestation, biodiversity conservation, lack of water supply, flooding, drought, pests and diseases, and vulnerability to the effects of climate change. ERDB po has been highly supportive of the department's reforestation program called the Enhanced National Greening Program, or ENGP. Aside from providing quality forestry planting materials for NGP, we have also developed protocols on macro-propagation and tissue culture of various forestry species to augment the production of seedlings. Furthermore, even though bamboo is a type of grass, it was used as a major species in regreening our lands due to its fast growth characteristics and impressive capacity to sequester carbon. ERDB's bamboo propagation techniques, plantation establishments, and management are now being practiced by stakeholders in the government, LGUs, POs, NGOs, CSOs, business entities, and even yung mga individuals po, itong mga farmers. To ensure the desirable growth of every seedling planted across the country, ERDB has also developed the high-quality vesicular, arbuscular mycorrhiza, or mas maiksi po, HiQ-VAM1. It's a cost-effective biofertilizer that is inoculated into the roots, allowing better water absorption and increased resilience even in hostile soil conditions. Since 2011 po, there have been at least 485 million seedlings planted with this superfungus HiQ-VAM1, and it has significantly helped regreen our forest. Speaking of resilience, ERDB has also been dedicated to advancing the technology to produce more resilient seeds, especially to conserve and protect endemic and indigenous forest trees. Our researchers in Surigao del Sur have come up with a way to fortify seeds that can withstand harsh soil environments such as those in mined-out areas and deforested mountains. ERDB has several seed centers across the country, but the most notable one is the Mindanao Forestry Seed Center that's located po sa Bislig, Surigao del Sur. Just recently, through the help of the Department of Science and Technology, it opened its research gallery and a 3 farmers training hub to allow more upland farmers to know more about science-based protocols that can be applied in their forest plantations. With this technology, we hope to meet the country's demand for industrial tree plantation species like falcata without putting much burden on our natural resources, eventually conserving our native tree species. To protect po our forestries from pests and diseases, our research specialists have also acquired an integrated way to manage pests and diseases. We have also designed a protocol for assessing tree health and performing tree surgeries. Aside from the timber and wood products, ERDB also looked into non-timber forest products like almasiga, rattan, nipa shingles, anahaw leaves, and poles. We have analyzed the market chain of these NTFPs, specifically the channels they go through, the revenue of our local farmers, the gaps in support, and challenges they experience on the ground when harvesting and marketing NTFPs. This information is vital because it will be the basis of policies governing these NTFPs in terms of planting, harvesting, transporting, processing, and even marketing. Additionally, we have conducted research on assessing the vulnerability of our watersheds and increasing the capacity of our communities to adapt to the impacts of climate change. Our researchers have come up with a manual for assessing watershed vulnerability, and all the DNR field offices in the regions have been trained to do it themselves. This science-based procedure follows a holistic approach in managing our natural resources, conserving the diverse forms of plant and animals in these mountains, and ensuring the sufficient water supply to the communities surrounding it. To address drought and floods, our research center in Baguio City is exploring the possibility of having an artificial groundwater recharge facility through the funding support of DOST. Our specialists continue to seek a way to replenish aquifers to mitigate water shortage in the city. Alam naman natin, ang Baguio is they're experiencing water shortage. And of course, aside from water supply, ang ini-intention din po natin dito is to minimize flooding. Once it has been turned over to the local government, it is expected to address yung water shortage po at saka yung flooding. Moving from the RAGES, under the program on promoting ecosystem health and sustainability in urban areas, we also dwell on creating solutions to our troubles within urban settings. You may have seen how heavily polluted our waterways are in the cities. For instance, the Marilao-Mikawayan-Obando River system was so murky that it was listed a few years back as one of the world's dirtiest. This is due to the effluents from various industries in the area, including tanneries. So our research center in Quezon City thought of a low-cost way to remove chemicals from the water using materials already available in the country. Since we have a heap of waste from the agricultural sector like rice hulls, corn cobs, coconut husks, and sugarcane bagasse, they tried if it would work to remove chromium-6 from the water using the process of absorption. Their trials ended positively, making it a good alternative to the conventional granular activated carbon for heavy metal removal. And now the study is in its second phase. Tinitingnan na po natin kung paano siya commercially magagamit. We've also tried to find an answer to soil pollution using 6 different species of bamboo. ERDB quantified their capacity to absorb heavy metals like lead, chromium, and mercury from the soil. Although the study provided favorable results in controlled settings, it must be continued in order to test if bamboo can be used to treat pollution in other sites like waterways and dam sites. We also looked into the ways we could improve the quality of air in our urban dense areas. Our researchers work on the Air Pollution Tolerance Index, where they tested different plant species to see which ones will survive in areas where air is heavily polluted. They aim to see what plant species can be used for urban greening, which is what we need in locations where air pollutants are widespread, katulad po ng Metro Manila. Those are our completed studies on forests and urban ecosystems. Moving down to the coast, we have the resilient coastal and freshwater ecosystems through nature-based solutions program. We all know how ecotourism brings significant economic contributions to our local and national economies. But we can, ang tanong po dito, can we sustain it knowing that our environment could only hold so much? There is a certain allowable number of residents, tourists, and infrastructures that a place can hold without hurting the environment. That's what we determine when we conduct carrying capacity studies in ecotourism destinations. ERDB has conducted this study on several well-known beaches and popular tourist destinations in the country, such as Puerto Galera, Boracay, Panglao, Siargao, Baguio City, and of course El Nido, to help us manage the influx of tourists, especially during peak seasons. It is being replicated by the local government units to ensure sustainable ecotourism. Yung iba po dyan, may mga updates na pong ginagawa, and this time, nagpo-provide kami ng tulong sa kanila, technical assistance, but they're the ones that are really shelling out para ipatupad po yung carrying capacity assessment. And I think it's a problem of sustainability. Alam nila yon, 'di ba? Kailangan prolong nila yung kanilang yung ganda ng kanilang area, and so they're really working on it. Um ang bansa po natin is so beautiful, and we just have to make sure the generations to come can enjoy the view too. We also have several studies on our mangrove ecosystems. Mangroves used to be disregarded and converted to aquaponds, but mangroves can do so much than what meets the eye. Aside from its ability to act as the first line of defense in coastal areas during storms and an ideal habitat for fishes and other marine life, a study by our scientists at ERDB became a testament to its impressive ability to sequester or absorb carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. These findings made a significant contribution to our current policies on protecting these species. Our mangroves are now being strictly protected because of their huge carbon storage and other ecosystem services. DNR now implements a nationwide monitoring of mangroves per region and follows science-based propagation techniques, species selection, and proper zonation as recommended by our ERDB mangrove specialists. We are also currently developing a science-based protocol for earth-bowling mangroves as part of the department's effort to rehabilitate our coastal areas. Sa ngayon po, may tatlong batas actually na ipinagbabawal po ang pagpuputol ng mangrove, pero may mga instances that we really have to remove the mangrove, and most of the projects that for which this is needed, ito po yung mga infrastructure projects. So, we're trying to work out now kung paano natin na magagawa ng tama yung pag-earthbowl ng mangroves. Hindi po natin siya papatayin at puputulin, kundi ililipat lang po natin yung mga mangroves sa ibang lugar. That's basically pag sinabi nating earthbowling. Dine-develop po ito ngayon, we're trying to develop the strategy for mangrove earthbowling. We've also given particular attention to our peatland ecosystems. If you're familiar with the Agusan Marsh Wildlife Sanctuary in Agusan del Sur, it is said to be the most significant inland wetland ecosystem in the country, and it is also a peatland. Yung mga peatland hosts a great number of biodiversity, provides food and water resources to the surrounding communities, and regulates flood and drought. ERDB is on the quest to look for more peatlands in other regions so that we may be able to protect them from being heavily disturbed. Because on top of those ecosystem services I've just mentioned, it also stores, again, carbon, making peatlands one of our weapons to combat climate change. And so it is our priority to characterize potential peatlands and protect them. Aside from research and development, ERDB gives equal importance to extension, completing the RDE cycle. So we create several avenues where you can extend our research results to its target users, be it through publication of knowledge products, production of IC materials, conduct of capacity building activities, establishing demonstration areas, leading educational tours, forums, and webinars, holding international conferences, use of mass media and exhibits, and the social media platforms where the exchange of thoughts and ideas are more dynamic, as well as, of course, the spread of misinformation more rampant. We also believe in the power of numbers and the multi-sectoral approach to development. So we forge collaborations with our partner stakeholders in the communities and maintain alliances with local and international organizations. We've been working with reputable research and environmental groups like the Asia Pacific Network for Global Change Research, the International Bamboo and Rattan Organization, the International Tropical Timber Organization, and the Deutsche Gesellschaft for International Sustainability or GIZ, di ba? Hindi ko na ho masabi. To name a few. Ang okay, we now go to the challenges. Before I conclude the message, I would like to take advantage of the opportunity to request our future researchers and scientists to implement studies that will give significant contributions to our policies, programs, and worthy initiatives that will greatly contribute to the body of knowledge and consequently leading to the betterment of the society. And I'd like to emphasize betterment of the society. In summary, we at ERDB live by our mantra, innovating for sustainable ecosystems. We pour our minds and souls into empowering people with knowledge about the environment so that we can make informed decisions each day of our lives and be able to live a sustainable lifestyle. Because we have to recognize that our resources are finite and there is no other planet like the Earth. With this, maraming salamat po.